Good morning, friends. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. It's a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from each and every day right here in the Impact Power Sports Studio. Impact Power Sports found online at impactpowersportsmi.com. Great group over there. If you're interested in perhaps a Yamaha golf cart, perhaps an ATV, UTV, stuff that goes fast and will make you possibly injure yourself at some point. Motorcycle, go-kart, scooter, e-bike, they've got it all at Impact Power Sports. Online at impactpowersportsmi.com. Oh, God, I got to cut this hair. It's getting ridiculous. So glad you are here on a... today feels like the type of day where I have to do a lot to put yesterday into the rearview mirror. Some of you already know what I am referring to because you saw the Patreon show that I did. A show is loosely describing it. It wasn't a show at all. I had said it was great in theory. The idea was when yesterday's adventure to go get Madison's car was taking place that I would do the show with Pooh Bear by my side while we were driving. And, we got it. I had to get it started later than I wanted to. And then once I did, it seemed like, I guess the shit hit the fan technically. Maureen says it was a fun show. So I don't know, maybe the what we packed into those minutes was, enough that you could describe it as fun. All right, you know what? That's actually quite a that actually makes me feel a lot better because I was concerned, that it was shitty because there was a technical glitch that made it kind of like, I don't know what was going on. I saw it. Chris sent me a clip, Chris Perry, and it ended up freaking out, so we ended up canceling it. Chris says, I liked it. Definitely different. It sucked that it glitched. That's what it was. Rebecca said, I really enjoy the dynamic between you and Queen of the Forest. There you go. It's a winning combo. Tyler says he liked it. Alan says we also got a close-up of Pooh Bear's ass. Yeah, I had to hold the phone for a little bit, and that was definitely intended. I'm glad it hit the mark. I'm glad you're all here. Sorry, I'm kind of out of sorts because the NFK is in taking a shower, which is right next to this room, and so he's clanking around and bumping into shit, and there isn't a doorway that guy goes through where he doesn't just push the door and then it just opens and hits whatever is behind it, shower door included, and he's just clumsy as a fucking ox. All right, but I honestly, I laid my head down last night. I go, where is the day gone? What a fucking day. Jesus. Hang on, I got to drink this coffee. So I knew I had to drive about 100 miles to the north, literally in the middle of nowhere, to pick up Madison's car, which broke down. It's being looked at right now over at Irvine's. So that's all taken care of. But this is, again, I said it out loud to Pooh Bear, I go, what we do for our kids. Let's hope that they do the same for their kids. So that Madison and Ash's either adopted child from Senegal or China, or Madison and Ash's in vitro fertilized baby with hot sperm from some guy we don't know. I hope that they do the same for those children as they do that Pooh Bear and I do now. This is shit you do. The shit that we do for our kids and that all people do for their kids, we're not alone. People take a look at these things and they go, God, why don't you let them do it? It's like, no, there's no way. There's no way. It would be impossible. I've never really gone that route of, it's their problem. Nick says you will have a pair of Palestinian grandbabies soon. Okay. I like the way you're thinking. Would not surprise me at all. I would love that. So I got this car dolly on the back of the truck. The folks who saw it on Patreon, some of this will be a repeat, but my stories I have to kind of get people caught up. It's 100 miles away. I saw this trick online that you can keep the car dolly from fishtailing, because typically you get that thing going and it's moving all over the road. It's dangerous. But there was a trick you can do that will assist in that. And it did help, because I drove it for a little bit without what I did to it. And as soon as you get 1 mile an hour, it starts fishtailing all over the place, and it's extremely dangerous. So I do this thing with a couple of straps, and I'm able to get up to a fair enough speed, but I realized quickly that this is going to be a slow drive. So 100 miles up to the community of Leroy, Michigan, and which is just south of Cadillac, Michigan. And I had to, when I put the location and where I was going, I had to do no highways, all back roads. So the navigation's taking me onto all these, one lane going one way and another lane, the other lane coming the other way. So that's it, you know. And right away I predicted, boy, some people are going to get the short straw and they're going to wind up behind me. And we left at a time between, like at about 3:30. 3:15 actually. And so by the time we started to hit these back roads, like people were getting out of work. So there's a lot of cars going the other direction. There's no way to pass us. So at times we're like 25 miles an hour in a 55. I think the fastest we got up all the way that entire trip was probably about 38, 39 miles an hour. And that was not sustained for any amount of time. I would say we averaged about 29, 30, 31 miles an hour for 100 miles. It took north of 3 hours to get there. There was talk about, who was it? Somebody said, was Pellerito stalking the vehicle? Yeah, who knows with Mike? God damn. Any sign of Stalkerito scoping out the Shrub Scout mobile? No, thank God. Badger says $300 in gas. No, it wasn't bad at all. Gas is cheaper now, and the truck doesn't do too bad. I mean, we're getting towing that, I got about 17 miles per gallon, so it wasn't that terrible. There were times when I would look in the rearview mirror, the side view mirror, and it's a good half mile of cars behind us. And then when they would pass us, they would do it aggressively. Like the second our cars are side by side, they're starting to merge. Like they're just missing me. They're so pissed off. And I was like, well, I can't do anything about it. There is nothing I can do. And then I thought to myself, you should pull over and you know how like you see like the guys driving the combine? When the traffic gets too backed up, he'll pull over and like, all right, come on up. I said, fuck that. You deal with it. I'm not moving. Excuse me. Megan says, could have run there and back faster. Well, so we get to where I need to be, and I see the car. It's facing southbound, and they didn't get it very far onto the exit ramp shoulder. So I have to. It's a long exit ramp, so I have to walk considerable distance. I can't believe how many body parts of animals I saw. A lot of smashed turtles that get run over, and then nature eats like all of everything there that's except for the shell. So all you see is like a busted up shell. It's pretty sad, actually. A leg from some type of look like a turkey, maybe. Just one turkey leg, just the actual thin part with the with the foot with the talons, you know. Fucking gross. Get in the car. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I was able to make it up the exit ramp and loaded it up onto this car dolly. Now, this car dolly has ruined many a car. I do not recommend that you own or use a car dolly. If there's so many things that can go wrong when you're using a car dolly. Maybe it's just me, but typically by the time I get the car either on the car dolly or off of the car dolly, there's damage. Fuck. There was one time I was up north. It was just me and the NFK. And we had this Dodge Journey, and I drove it up, and, you know, the wheels set in like that recessed area. Now, there's like a ridge at the end of it to stop the vehicle from going any further. Unless you're an idiot like me, and you go past that. So now it drives over the trailer, and now it's fallen off the trailer. And, oh, my God, complete catastrophe. I had to call a wrecker to hoist it up and then move. Oh, God, just a complete shit show. Chris says you're better off renting a car trailer. Chris says the same thing. U-Haul car trailers are good for rental too, man. Built like the Sears fucking tower. You know, that's a great idea. I think I still am going to get rid of this goddamn... I was planning on getting rid of the car dolly. The point of the thing was we would, when we had the fraud bus, would tow a car behind it. But add to the pile of expenses from the fraud bus, virtually every time I've used that, I've ripped off a bumper or fucked something up. Rebecca says get AAA and have them tow it. And then Aram writes, he said AAA is a waste of money. Did I say that? That's like my insurance company for auto, I think. No, it's not. That's my life insurance. AAA. Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily a waste of money, but I would have to get it on like every car, and there's a lot of cars, and that gets expensive. All right, so I get that thing on there, and then we make the trek back down to Irvine's. And everything went smoothly. The car towed very nicely, but when it came time to get it off, I was scared to death that I was going to damage something, and I almost did had I not caught it at the last second. But there you go. I ended up getting it off, thank God, and did not damage a thing. So, all fantastic. Megan says, oh, there is video. Should I watch it? Video at Irvine's, no doubt, on the parking lot as I dropped off the vehicle is what she's referring to. Yeah, I don't think there was anything that was substantial. I mean, I was able to do it successfully, and I didn't have any damage to it, and boy, was it a relief. Got it parked nicely, dropped the key in the drop box. Irvine's reached out to me, and off we go. Again, the things we do for our kids. The point of this being, and then so I get home in Madison, is she's like all appreciative. And I don't know if Diana got in the house before me and said, hey, your dad spent his whole birthday traversing the state with angry people honking at him to get your car. Make sure you really let him know. I secretly believe that these are the types of conversations that happen around here. Because she goes in the house, and then a short time later, Madison comes back, and she's like, oh, my God, it was so nice of you. Thank you, Molly. I appreciate the well wishes. Man Bun Chris is here. He says, I loved it. Thanks for trying to get that show done. All right, so then as I get the vehicle off and I'm driving back to the house and the trailer is shaking like more than it has before. I had to pull over, redo all these stupid straps, this system that I made, and finally got it home, put everything away, and then off to bed. And it's the type of day that, there has to be consecutive days where you get back into the flow of the week before you start to forget about that calamity. These are first world problems. This is so not a big deal. Only an idiot like me would find something to bitch about. Can you imagine trying to explain these types of problems to someone who, like right now, there's a guy somewhere probably doing a podcast in Madagascar. He's doing a podcast about his problems. And his problems are like he's hoping to find some food for his family. He's hoping that his cousin stops bleeding from the asshole after getting raped by a warlord. And yet here I am bitching that I had to go 40 miles an hour towing a tow dolly to get another vehicle transported to get repaired. Only us in America would do something like that. Man Bun Chris hits the nail on the head with that guy in Madagascar is like, wow, you have the opportunity to go get a car with another car? Exactly. Did you ever see the piece? There was some news story. It might have been like 60 Minutes or something like that. There was a story about folks in some faraway corner of the globe. Couldn't tell you where. Doesn't matter. It's a place where, like, they don't wear shoes. And these villagers work in a farming community where they get cocoa beans. And I don't know the process. I just remember that they work their asses off with a high risk of injury or death to procure cocoa beans, which are eventually processed by Hershey Bar. And the guy who's doing the news story shows up at the village to do the story, and then he says, by the way, all of what you're gathering is to make a product, and here's what it is. And they have no idea what this fucking thing is. Like, what are you talking about? And they can't quite get what's happening. They've never seen a food product like this. To them, a food product is, cracking open a monkey's cranium and eating the brains. That's food. Nothing with a wrapper. So then they go, no, just do this. And they don't know what to do with it. They've got a piece of a Hershey bar, and they're like, this is the weirdest thing ever. What do we do with this? And the guy eats it, and then they go, oh, okay, and then they eat it, and it's like a symphony of flavor in their mouths. They're like, what the fuck is this? Holy fuck! It's like voodoo to them. They've never tasted anything. It's sensory overload. One of them became a serial killer instantly because of sensory overload is remarkable. That part I made up, but the rest of it is true. I wonder if I can get that video if I search it. Villagers eat Hershey bar for first time. No. That was a bad search. Speaking of that exact same thing, our good friends Dave and Mary, we've known forever. They had a you ever sponsor a child? I used to do that. Remember Shivlal? I talked to you guys about Shivlal, the kid in India. Well, that fucker grew up, and I think he raped half the village. Shivlal. I was giving $20 a month to an organization known as Unbound. And after Shivlal grew up, and I think he was eaten by a lion or some shit, there was other people that would get sponsored, and then Shivlal would write fucking notes as he was growing up about his education, and he'd color us pictures, and we were actually going to go see Shivlal, but the plan fell through. Well, David and Mary, they were doing the same thing with some young person, and I don't remember what country the kid was from. But they ended up flying the kid in to the U.S. as a girl, young girl, teenage girl, picked her up at the airport. Now, we're talking about the most technology that she's ever seen is like a manual pencil sharpener. Things like knife is like super high tech. No idea what's going on in the real world. Well, I would say most of the world is probably where she lives. That type of poverty. And there was an incident because they stayed in a hotel, and they came upon a sliding glass door. And she had never seen glass before. So a door made out of glass. And this, imagine that. It blew her mind that she could see through, that it was, she ran into it, kind of walking, whammo, oh, shit. And, oh my God, they had to break everything down to its most rudimentary explanation. And there was a language barrier. So now that alone is outstanding. I mean, I would love that. I think that would be so interesting to me. I should have kept Shivlal on the lifeline. I think we eventually cut it out and said, fuck you. I think he got caught having sex with various animals in the village. But that was the end of Shivlal. But to be able to get somebody, that is an idea for a pilot. You sponsor the kid, doesn't matter who, just pick the shittiest part of the world, the shittier the better, and sponsor him, and then you can call it Coming to America or whatever the fuck. and then you can record it, exploit the fuck out of that kid, and you don't even have to pay him. You just send him back. He has no idea what the fuck is going on. It's not like he's going to know what a camera is. Holy shit, that would be incredible. Becca says, it's like that movie The Gods Must Be Crazy from the 1980s with the can of Coke, LOL. All right. I want to talk a little bit about Joey Chestnut. This past 4th of July was the annual Nathan's hot dog eating thing, and you cannot avoid this. You cannot avoid this. And he ate over 70 hot dogs in the allotted time, which is not a lot of time. I'm not showing any of the footage. I'm curious about, like, the, if you think about it, excuse me, the amount of weight of 70 plus hot dogs, plus the water he uses to wash it down in the buns. And there's not a lot of chewing that's going into these things. So the amount of capacity of his stomach he's ruined himself. And who knows, they probably throw up after. They need to get video of what that's like. I don't know if that's ever been seen by anybody. But there's no way that they keep all that food down, right? I've never really heard a clear answer as to what they do. But I think what bothers me the most is that people enjoy this. People enjoy watching this, and they cheer. And then, when I was watching, because I got the update on it when I was up north, the local Hard Living Line, north of the Hard Living Line TV station. Boy, it's so bad. You get the greenest of the greenhorns that are doing the broadcast. These are professional TV stations in name only, because they take people that are fresh out of college. Picture Boom Goes the Dynamite, that type of delivery. And, they usually look horrible. They sound horrible. They present terribly. And they suck. And this guy gets on there and he wrote into his sportscast, he's talking about the Tigers and the baseball and whatever, and this trade in the NBA. And oh, by the way, here's the update of the Nathan's hot dog. That's included in the goddamn sportscast. There are people who root for competitive eaters the same way they might root for a baseball team or a football team. And that's not sports. It's a fucking freak show. It's horrific. I've never been able to get behind watching anything like that. In fact, it's one of the worst things that's ever been witnessed by humans. I would rank worst things ever seen in humanity. Number 1, the Holocaust. Number 2, Nathan's hot dog eating contest. 3, 9/11. 4, the Jonestown Massacre. 5, body parts on the beaches of Normandy. 6, Hurricane Katrina. 7, flooding in Texas. That's how bad the Nathan's hot dog eating contest is. Like if someone said, I want you to sit and watch this whole contest or 9/11. Which one do you want to watch? Beginning of the 9/11 coverage or the Nathan's hot dog eating contest? I'm taking 9/11 10 out of 10 times. It's not as gruesome. And God help you if you're the type that's because you can bet on this shit. You can actually bet money. So Chestnut wins the goddamn thing again, we've created a monster. If nobody paid attention to that shit, we wouldn't have these animals doing this. Nick in Grand Rapids says, record starving kids in Africa watching an eating contest. Yeah, ain't that the truth? We're just talking about that. Yeah, starving children. You could feed a whole village of starving kids 70 and a half hot dogs. Molly says that competitive eating is no different than sports. Well, I guess when it comes to like an actual competition, because you've got people competing against each other to see who can achieve the most grossness in 10 minutes. I think to the letter of the law, the definition, yes, you are correct. But the difference, I think, is when I watch baseball or hockey or football or whatever the hell, it's not gross. So that's a huge difference. The competitive aspect of it, all right. But I'm not sickened when I watch the Lions play football, unless if they blow a lead or something like that, or they choke in the first round of the playoffs. Molly says the similarity is both are boring. So are you suggesting that any type of competition, there's no drama in that? What is interesting to you other than this show? I'm curious because this show brings in people from all different backgrounds, and I think you're kind of in the minority here. I think that even a person who doesn't pay attention to sports would be interested in the any type of dramatic moment. I think that's interesting. Molly says, I like all kinds of stuff. Well, like what? I mean, give me some examples. Is it like you do Magic the Gathering? You hunt Pokemon on Pokemon Go? What makes your motor run? Megan says, I'm a fan of ESPN Ocho, all the weirdo sports. Competitive eating belongs in circus sideshows or county fairs, says Mediocrity Dave. Jeremy says, if we're calling anything competitive a sport, then my pinball competitions are like mini Super Bowls. Molly's favorite things: video games, biking, chatting with people. Are you a chatty Cathy? Are you a meet somebody on the street or at whatever? You're like dropping your car off to get repaired, and you're going to break it down with somebody. You're going to get some insight as to what's going on in their world. You got to be careful with that because not everybody's like down. If you start chatting up a stranger, they're going to think that you want a bone. So if you're going to be chatty like that, a chatty Cathy, which is totally cool, you should have like a sidekick. Bob says, what about the sperm racing competition from a while back? Don't find that entertaining? I mean, if it's a close race, I am interested in any type of close race. Because it's dramatic. If two guys are battling out the last 100 yards of a marathon, that's fucking great. I don't care about the other 26.1 miles. Yeah, that's why when the Lions are on or something like that, I tend to just have it on in the background on the radio. And then the last 2 minutes, if it's close, I'll sit down and watch that. I just don't have time to sit down and do all that shit. As far as video games go, I would, but I have so much to do that I get disgusted with myself if I actually sit down and play a video game. Like if I spend 15 minutes playing Mario Kart, which would make me puke, by the way, I'd get motion sickness. I think the only video games I can play are when I'm at Pinball Land, which is over my shoulder right now, or it was. And that's at my own event. And those are retro video games as opposed to anything new. My beloved son-in-law, Ash, has a video game set up in the other room. And I don't know what the fuck he plays, but he's playing online, and I think he like bullies kids when he's playing. And you're like, how the hell do you know that? Now, I haven't heard it myself, but this was a conversation because I tipped them off that I want to get that shirt or that sweatshirt, the hoodie that says bring back bullying or bring bullying back. I think it's bring back bullying, which is just a ridiculous thing to say. And Ash saw it, and I said, hey, I want to get this. What do you think? And Ash goes, I say yes. I love bullying kids. I go, really? Yeah, if I'm playing video games and there's a kid on there, I always bully him. And I'm like, yeah, really? How come? Well, if their parents are so shitty that they let them play video games online with strangers, then I'm going to bully them. And I was like, Ash, I didn't see that coming. Chris from Buffalo writes, deep voice Ash, hey, fuck you, kids. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Ash, by the way, all man, comes walking up to me when we're up north and says, hey, wait, you mind if I fire up that chainsaw? I go, no. I go, have you used one before? Yeah, I've used a chainsaw before. Come on. And then my pistola was on the picnic table. He goes, hey, Dad. Yeah, Ash. It's a nice pistol there. I go, yeah, you fired one? Yeah. You want to fire this one? Yeah. All right, let's go shoot some guns. But it was unfortunate because I didn't bring all the ammo. I usually use a different type of ammo, target ammo, as opposed to, because hollow point ammunition is a little bit more expensive. I don't want to use that. But I didn't bring any target ammo. I go, all right, well, I'll tell you what, next time we come up here, we'll shoot the shit out of some guns. All right, fuck yeah, Dad. Appreciate it. All right, I don't know how the hell we got on this tangent. That's weird. No memory. I'm glad we got on it, though, because I took a look at what the hell I'm talking about today. And I was like, fuck, I sure as fuck don't have a lot to talk about. I think that all started with Joey Chestnut. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's what Stevie says, hot dog eating. We went from hot dog eating to that topic. Alan says you should teach Ash how to use the car dolly. Oh, God, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. The car dolly's a disaster. Again, it's a miracle that it worked yesterday. Nick says, what kind of fear bunker doesn't have 1,000 rounds at the ready? You're absolutely right. We could have just gone into town and got them, but I didn't feel like driving. Yeah, I can't shoot the rounds. I can't shoot the guns off on the property, though, because it freaks the dog out. And my neighbor, Kathy, gets pissed off. She lives on the next plot. And she swears that she's afraid that one of the rounds is going to miss the 8 billion trees and then shoot her dog, Bear. My Kathy, there's no fucking way. First of all, I'm in a valley. Second of all, look, it's a fucking forest. Yeah, but he likes to wander. I don't like you shooting guns. Fine, whatever. So then I got to haul my ass over to the goddamn gravel pit. All this week shows. All next week shows. The following week, no live shows. on the free or Patreon platform. Though I will have shows that you haven't heard before on the free and something to listen to while I'm away on the Patreon. This week, Thursday, we have a Big Fraud Thursday. Who are these free beers will commence coming up on Thursday at 6 p.m., followed by the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. I've got some super cuts that I want to share with you that I've been working on. There's two of them. Free beer has a tendency lately to do a couple of things. Say the same thing over and over again.
Very big whimsy energy. Yeah. Very Michael energy. You mirror energy. That 15-year-old energy, celebrating the energy of, I feel that energy. Gravy ladle energy. White flag surrender energy. This has the same energy. I like that energy. So that you don't give off any feminine energy, like nervous energy. I can feel that mom's energy.
All right, that's embarrassing. It's not the only one, though.
Was yours low-key on purpose? I low-key want to go, too. I low-key have a lot of debt. Low-key annoyed. Like a low-key loyalty test. Low-key mad at him. I'm like, low-key.
All right, to me, there's nothing worse than a fuckhead like Greg, who just kind of like starts talking the way younger people talk because he thinks that's what people want to hear. He's never himself. It's always something else is making Greg talk the way he talks. I don't know if it's because of the influence of the young people on the show. I couldn't even tell you without any degree of confidence, with a degree of confidence, what low key means. The way he's using it.
Was yours low-key on purpose? I low-key want to go, too. I low-key have a lot of debt. Low-key and
low-key have a lot of debt? Does low-key mean I sort of want to go?
Was yours low-key on purpose? I low-key want to go, too.
I low-key want to go, too. Does that mean you kind of want to go, or you're just... Does it mean you want something, but you're too afraid to admit it? So you just kind of keep it under wraps? Is that what I'm being led to believe?
Was yours low-key on purpose? I low-key want to go, too. I low-key have a lot of debt. Low-key.
If that's the case, what does I low-key have a lot of debt mean? I sort of want a lot of debt? He's using it in weird ways. It's because it's crept into his lexicon, so now it happens all the fucking time in ways that are not appropriate.
I low-key have a lot of debt. Low-key annoyed. Like a low-key loyalty test. Low-key mad at him. I'm like, low-key.
That is so shitty. God, does that guy suck. Molly says, it's dumb even for me. Well, don't badmouth yourself. I don't think you're dumb. Come on now. This is what I suspected, and Amy suspects it too. He's copying Maitland and using the phrases all wrong. Maureen says low-key means to some extent. David says he low-key wants to bone Maitland. Chris says sort of or kind of.
I low-key have a lot of debt.
So I sort of have a lot of debt?
I low-key have a lot of debt. Was yours low-key on purpose?
It was sort of on purpose?
Low-key want to go, too.
I sort of want to go, too?
I low-key have a lot of debt.
I sort of have a lot of debt.
Low-key annoyed.
I'm sort of annoyed.
Like a low-key loyalty test?
Sort of loyalty test.
Low-key mad at him.
I'm sort of mad at him. Just say I'm sort of mad at him.
Like, low-key.
Molly says, I don't know where the frick it came from. Badger says too many edibles. Yeah, right. Anyway, that's a preview. I've been compiling them for quite some time and starting to get a nice stable of low-key supercut and a nice stable of energy, a nice supercut energy file. Maureen adds subtly, secretly, or moderately. Right. You should just use those words, Greg, instead of trying to sound like a fucking young hipster. Stupid asshole. Speaking of hipster, Madison says to me, yeah, that's a hippie, Dad. There was this chick that walked into this gift shop in Grayling, because Grayling is the one stretch of road. It's actually a crossroads where it's tourist. Small town. People go there. They like the little artisan shops. I've talked to you about that. And we're in this place where they sell like fucking keychains and coffee mugs and those signs you put in your house with sayings on them. Or you see on the bookshelf, it's all these Michigan books like Michigan's Most Haunted, Mystic Michigan, Mystery Places in Michigan, those types of books. And this chick who looked, well, she was cute, but not my type. Young, cute, drab style, Grateful Dead clothing, no shoes, walking around the town with no shoes on, which now I don't think Madison and Ash and Pooh Bear I don't think they're aware of me and feet, but feet to me are like, if a chick comes in with no shoes on, that's the same to you as when a chick comes in with no shirt on and just bare boobs. I'm like, oh my God, look at those feet. Maureen says, yeah, I was at Paddle Hard Brewing. Yeah, this place is right across the street from that. And Maddie goes, yeah, Dad, that's a hippie. I go, oh, okay. By the way, we were driving onto the property. Well, to get to my place, you have to go on this 2-track. And these folks on the corner are new there, and I actually wrote their names down so I would remember when I met them like 2 months earlier. Now, I think that this is a vacation home for them that they just purchased, but it turns out it's their home. Young couple, first home, middle of nowhere, hard living line area. And it just is the oddest scenario because he's from Denmark and she is young and cute with ridiculous boobs. And I was shocked by it because I had from the road said to them months earlier, hello, welcome to the area. My name is, who are you? I write their names down so that I don't forget them. Actually, like I gotta do this. I gotta remember. And David says pro move. And I'm glad I did it. It's AJ and Kirsten, I believe. And I wrote it down in my phone as what did I write it down as? Grayling neighbors or something like that. New Fear Bunker North neighbors, AJ and Kirsten. So I see them, and Pooh Bear, Ash, Madison. I go, hey, because he's like out in the yard. And I'm not going to drive onto the property. You get yourself shot. Alan says, is Fear Bunker North on a lake? No. Just sand. Sand, trees. So I rolled down my window, go, hey, how are you? AJ and Kirsten, right? And she goes, yes. I go, remember me, Eric? I met you. She goes, oh, yes, hello. So I was in and out fast. I don't want to take up much of their time. I just want to say hello. This went beautifully. We didn't take up too much of their time at all. as I was approaching, Dinah says, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Keep going. We don't want to know people. I go, fuck you. Yeah, we do. We do want to know people. So they're coming towards us now, and they have a dog, and it's a Frenchie. This beautiful little 1-year-old Frenchie, and she's adorable. Her name's Mamie. And so we're petting the dog, actually pick it up. I'm like, I don't even know these people. I'm picking up their dog. And she comes over, and she has a cami on. All right? And I'm guessing 25 to 30. And impossibly ridiculous, gravity-defying, you can't even call them boobs. Like melons, orbs, guns. And they're just like screaming, hey, look at me. And I did not, but I mean, like, hi. And then my eyes kind of like, oh, fuck, you got to be careful here when talking to these people where they're going to think you're a goddamn rapist. And so within half a millisecond, I know we've got a ridiculous set of jugs. She might as well not have the cami on. And so quick reintroduction. And I'm just trying to keep things moving because the second I stop talking, I'm going to look at these titties. And not that I'm a big titty guy, but just it would be like if you were at the fair and they had like some kid with elephantitis of the nuts or a donkey show where chicks and guys are blowing a donkey. You're going to want to see it once. It was that type of freak show level of ridiculousness. So, but I'm talking to the guy. Hey, okay, yeah, what's the dog's name? Okay, yeah, well, that's nice. Hey, we're going to be right down here. And I said to him, kind of felt bad. I go, so where's home for you guys? Thinking that I did kind of put my foot in my mouth once with this. Maybe not too bad. Let me know what you think in the chat. I go, so where's home for you guys? And they go, right here. I go, oh, this is your home. I thought it was like a getaway place for you. They go, no, this is our first house. We just bought. And he's got a thick accent. He's from Denmark, like I said, and she's not. And so I don't want to ask too many questions. And the only reason why I figured out he was from Denmark is because the accent was fucked up, and he had a shirt that said like "I love Denmark" or some shit. I didn't ask that much. I didn't ask too many questions. All I said was, oh, well, we love your dog. We're so glad you're here. It's a beautiful place. If you need help moving anything or you need any assistance in any way, I'm right down here. Just come by all means. And that was it. I didn't want to take up too much of their time. Other than that one moment, I don't think it was anything stupid. But we got in the vehicle and off we go. And I get halfway down the road. I go, my God, I guess it's no bra day here in Grayling. And Pooh Bear's like, yeah. And I go, well, I didn't want to say another word because she'd think that I'm going to get home and as soon as I get a free moment, I'm going to yank my crank to what's in my brain of these absurd boobies. Damn it. What a set of guns. Bob says sand trees and an A-10 firing range. By the way, we just missed the A-10s. The Thunderbolt 2s are there from yesterday to tomorrow. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They actually run advertisements on Q100. Because if you want to see them, they encourage people to do that. And it's an ad that runs on Q100. It says, hey, don't forget, at the firing range, at the bombing range, the sounds of freedom will be on display as the A-10 Thunderbolt 2s practice. Chris says you didn't fire up the old beef bong. Never heard that one. Becca Shea says, so are you an ass man? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I am, frankly. I just like old women. My age women, I guess, is how I'll describe it. I'll tell you what I don't like. Shoes. That's what I don't like. All right. Chris says the A-10, Thunderbolt 2, delivering democracy, 3,900 rounds per minute. God, those are fun to watch. And they go right over the place. All right. As I do this show from right here in the Impact Power Sports studio, know that I have a number of key sponsors that have helped make it all possible. Today, I want to spotlight the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. When it comes to getting a mortgage, this is who I want you to call. Buy now, refinance later with Mario. Get a hold of him at 231-332-6505. That's 231-332-6505. From anywhere in the U.S., he can get you started ASAP. The rates still suck. Housing prices are still through the roof. I don't know if that's going to change, at least the housing prices. The rates will eventually fall. But you want to get in on your house. You want to be pre-approved. 231-332-6505. Pick Mario's brain. Tell him I sent you. In West Michigan, when it comes to tree care, I want you to call Kuiper Tree Care. Kuiper. KuiperTreeCare.com. 616-828-8225. That's 616-828-8225 for Kuiper Tree Care. Reached out to my pal, Andy Green. We are getting reacquainted. Some of you, I had talked about this, and I said that there's no way he left on his own accord. And he's telling me he did. I've started a text dialogue with him. And Andy is a quirky type of dude. And I'm going to give you an example of some of the things that Andy talks about. This is sight unseen content. Used to work with Andy at GRD. He made a name for himself on Dave and Chuck the Freak. And I guess he's not happy with something in the radio industry. And I'm not exactly clear as to what that is. I don't want to comment until I hear it from him. But he says that he left on his own accord. And I call BS on that. But then he doubled down to me and said, no, it's true. I actually left on my own accord. And so he's in New York right now, and he's doing shit like this.
Since I've come to New York, I've been staying with friends, and it's not always easy for them having me in their space all the time. It's not great to turn around and see this mug every time you're trying to just have a moment of peace. So when I can, I stay at a hotel if I can afford it, even though I'm not rolling with that much dough. And the Bronx has been a great place to save money on hotels. There are two great Wyndham hotels in the Bronx, the Super 8 I talked about the other day, and this one, the Wingate by Wyndham. $140 a night, the room is great, and they have the best, honest to God, breakfast I've ever had at a hotel. They had sausage, croissants, corn pops, waffles. It was awesome. This is an attempt to get them to give me some money, so hopefully it works out. The Wingate by Wyndham. Check it out.
Okay. So
since I've come to New York,
he's delivering content in these short vignettes. Here's one of him. I think this is right around 4th of July. Okay.
Oh man, I am tired. Ran around on the subway all day today trying to get to that museum. It was nuts. Anyway, big thanks to everybody that's watched. My posts are getting good numbers. And
like thousands and thousands of people are watching him. Andy was the hilarious guy on that show. That show blows. He was funny. And the show was heard in communities, big communities like Detroit and Boston.
If any of you guys have small businesses out there, you want to get mentions, my posts get between anywhere from like 3,600 to 20,000 views. Most people are either in Boston or the Detroit area. So if you want to get some advertising going.
it turns out he has. A local guitar company or some guitar company said, yeah, we'll do it. And they're like paying him now.
I'll say, hey, so I figured I'd throw that out there also. But yeah, I don't know what's on the agenda for tomorrow. I'll do something. Sometimes even if I don't do like a travel-y kind of, post, I'll try to come up with something funny and just talk some shit, But yeah, reach out to me in direct messages if that's anything that interests anybody. No pressure or sweat or anything.
And he got some. This one is funny, I thought.
Morning. Did you survive the 4th of July? It was like a goddamn war zone here last night. It was crazy. I was walking by a park, and there was a homeless couple fighting. And they both were wearing clothes that looked like they literally were throwing out the shit that everybody wore in the Mad Max movies. And they were like, we'll scoop those up. It was crazy shit. He's in a band or something, that guy. But
he has no idea.
They were having a dispute, and it got kind of fucking crazy and loud.
Okay, so Andy looks homeless,
that
too.
was weird.
That hair, holy shit.
Weird. But I saw fireworks for like a second, so I don't know.
So Andy, after he left the Riff, his goal is to go to faraway places, like in this case, New York or different towns, and basically do like a travel report. And people are enjoying his videos. They're like short, and then he'll throw out a sponsor here and there. This is how that unfolded with this fucking guitar company. Nice job, Andy.
This video brought to you by Doer Guitars. If you're a guitar junkie, check out Doer Guitars. Forget all the names and get a guitar that's a legitimate work of handcrafted art. Every single part is made by hand, and each one of the Bourbon Burst guitars is completely unique and made beautifully with handcrafted wood, metal, and hand-wound pickups.
Okay, so they pay him like big money to do these goddamn things. I love it. I mean, this is... if you can just pick up the pieces and grab your phone and start delivering something, that's great. So I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope to be able to get to talk to him soon. I'd love to get him on the show here, like just call him from time to time and say, hey, Andy, because he's that level of funny. And he picture like Stephen Wright meets fucking what's the name of that guy? Mitch Hedberg. I hope some of you know who that is. Gone way too soon. Mitch Hedberg, one of the all-time funniest people that's ever walked the face of the earth. Mike says, slide him some coin to talk about your show, Easy. Who is 802_Mike C? I never know who's who. I have so many people that follow this show who, like, do it under assumed names that I'm always suspicious of people that I don't recognize their name as. Like, who am I really talking to? You got the core people that I recognize all the time. And then there are folks that either just don't comment, or they do it quietly, or they watch the replay later. And it's sometimes a little bit unnerving to me to think, who the fuck is actually watching this? All right. I just picked out my textbook for my class at Aquinas College. As you know, Professor Zane, which is what I will demand that the students call me, is going to be teaching a class, and the head of the department said, what textbook are you going to use? And I said, mine. And they said, she says, you have a textbook? I go, yes. She says, where can I see it? I go, you cannot. She says, why? I said, because it's in my brain. Pause. By the way, Linda says we all need to register. There can be no more students. There's 16 students in the class. They are accepting no more people. It is full. You remember that signing up for your classes and the fucking thing's full? You're like, God damn it. Got to take a Monday morning, 8 a.m. or Friday morning, 8 a.m. after hanging out at the wayside all night and you're bombed Thursday night. You roll into bed at like 4 a.m. You wake up even more drunk than when you went to bed. She goes, you gotta pick a book. I go, all right. So I went ahead and I got a book. I'm going to show it to you right now. And I don't even know if this is a good book. Let me see here. Choice number 1. It's called Podcasting 101, a complete reference guide to all things. And I said to the department head, I go, this is pricey, though. That's why I don't like this book. It's an $85 book. And I'm like, you really don't need it. You honestly do not need this book. This is bullshit, making them buy this book. Because 9 times out of 10, when I'm reading that what's ever in this fucking book, I'm going to go, yeah, don't do that. And then I'm going to feel bad that these poor fucks had to buy the book, or I should say these poor fucks' dads had to buy these books. I go, just let me, it's 16 weeks. 16 weeks, I can come up with 16 things to talk about what to focus on. I can sit here right now and rattle off 16 topics that I could write out in a lesson plan. Why not do that? Why do I have to have a fucking book if some asshole is writing a book about podcasting, you know what that asshole is not doing? Podcasting. Because he's writing a fucking book about it. Teddy Birch wrote Podcasting 101, a complete reference guide to all things podcasting. From color theory, I don't know what that is, to building your own studio. Yeah, see? This studio. You want to build your own studio? Let a bunch of assholes build it for you who then try to take advantage of you. And then when you want to redo it, put drywall spackle on the walls and leave it there. That's a good way to start. This book also features complete audio video editing. It teaches audio video editing to media law. Okay, so I'll say, yeah, open up the segment about video law and audio law. Rip it out because we're not discussing that boring shit. Podcasting 101 is not only for the university student and instructor, but for anyone who's looking to get involved in the wonderful world of podcasting. This step-by-step reference manual will guide you from concept to creation and from distribution to troubleshooting. Love the world of podcasting? Then join us on a wonderful journey of sharing with the world your original podcast. Ugh. Sounds like shit. Man Bun Chris says, if you don't use a book, you'll have to come up with the homework and exam questions. Well, all right. I'm not against that. Aram says, a 200 level class would go into podcasting while driving. Rebecca says, easy. Laws are for followers. Do what you want and sample any audio you want. Also, who cares about a C&D and or copyright laws? Yeah. When in doubt, roll the dice. It's all about content. Do something interesting and fun. If you get in trouble, act like you're sorry, but don't be. Whatever you do, don't apologize. People will forget about it in a short amount of time. We can do an entire segment on the trouble you can get in for saying the N-word. And we can play Maureen's clip. This happened. This old buzzard said this on this show. My God. So I sent that along. I also had a backup book because when I had two choices. This one looks even more shitty, but it's not as pricey. Making Radio and Podcasts, a practical guide to working in today's radio and audio industries. Practical guide for anyone who wants to learn how to make successful programs in the digital era. And they write programs like they're not in the U.S. I think that's spelled differently in the U.S., right? It examines the key roles in audio and podcasting: announcing, presenting, research, copywriting, producing, marketing, and promotions. It also outlines what is involved in creating different types of programs: news and current affairs, music, talkback, comedy, and features, podcasts, as well as legal regulatory constraints. This sounds so fucking boring. Oh, man. I will loosely be following this book. The most important thing in podcasting is the content. If it's shitty, don't do it. If you're wondering if it's shitty, it is. Also, keep it short. Not everybody is going to be able to sit and do a 2-hour show. There's only one amazing personality on the planet that can do that. Nobody else on the planet can sit there and rattle off 2 fucking hours like it's nothing. You can't do it. So what you're going to do to start is something simple. Fucking TikTok dance. Get your shit together on TikTok. Do a dance. Post it. You'll probably get like 50 million views. Madison, my daughter, just had one that went viral. It was her doing some type of song and lip syncing it. It was somebody did a song inspired by that guy who is running for the mayor of New York. And I don't know how to say his name, Mondavi. He's a Democrat, and she's like super liberal. Megan says she came across my FYP. I don't know what an FYP is. I can probably get the video, but it kind of went viral. She was telling me, and she got all sorts of views, and like millions of people. And then there were people that were letting her have it and saying mean things to her. Hang on, I don't want to watch that right now. Okay, who am I following? Maybe I can get this. That's Michelle McCormick. No, I don't want that. Friends. Allie Mack. I don't even know how to do this shit. Madison. I'm clueless. Yeah, it's some chick named Madison. Profile. No, I'm lost. I am so clueless on TikTok. I'm looking at my own fucking thing. I don't want to do that. Okay, following. Megan. I follow Megan. I think I follow my daughter. There she is. Okay, this is the one. Okay.
MAFTA. The name is Mom Donnie.
That's it. That's the one.
The name is Mom Donnie. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. The name is Mom Donnie. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. You should learn how to say it. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. You should learn how to say it. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. The name.
Okay, so she did that. And let's see, 35,000 hearts. Is that good? But then people were saying mean shit to her. This person said, and when the poor choices inevitably result in lack of housing and other basic necessities, please make sure you live wherever you voted for these things and do not move. And then this person wrote P-O-U-R instead of P-O-O-R. And Maddie corrected this person. I go, all right, I like that. This person said,
The name is Mom Donnie.
you honestly look a bit Jewish to me. The irony to that speaks for itself. I'm not Jewish. I'm Armenian. Regards. Free Palestine. I told you guys. I haven't gone through all of these. Let's see. Nope, don't like him. Sadly, I want a fleet of Gretchens. Please don't come for me. I'm not just a fan of him. Too radical for me. I'm a big Gretch kind of girl. Madison says that is okay. Thank you for being respectful with your comment. This person says you're just lonely. She says, I got married 3 weeks ago. Thanks for the concern, though. Michigan Mundami fan here too. I love finding my fellow Michigan sisters. I'm in Detroit. He's my new mayor. Yeah, I'm trying to find some people that are really being mean. I don't know anything about this guy. But Madison's in love with him. All right, there you go. So she's, Ash has been like fighting with people online. Hey, fuck you. Branjo says you need to teach her to go low with the comments. Yeah, I've tried. It's impossible. She won't do it. Chris says, I saw it too. Came up randomly on my feed, as did Jackie Man Voice. Zoran Mondami. Now, he's not even the mayor. He's a Democratic candidate. And in New York, he's going up against Curtis Sliwa, who is the former leader of the Guardian Angels. This is a guy, he was had a radio show. I don't even know if he still has a fucking radio show anymore. But he was, hell-bent on breaking up the New York Mafia. Man Bun Chris says, see here, class. See here, class is where you circle the profile pic if you have caveman teeth. That's what I can teach. I can teach, look, it's you got to be willing to throw yourself out there and be willing to get banned. That's my advice to you. Be an asshole. If you want to be a star, okay, everybody talks about doing a podcast. Most podcasts stop after like 1 month. If you go to any podcast, look when the last time they did a podcast. And you'll see when they started, they did one like every day for like 2 weeks. And then it was every other day for 2 weeks. And then it was once a day for a week. And then, or every week, and then it was once a month, and then that was it. Done. Man Bun Chris says that is the term pod fade. R.I.P. Justin. 2 episodes. 2 fucking episodes. Rebecca says, teach the art of the Facebook fight with the theme song. That's a great idea. busting out the Facebook fight theme song.
Facebook fight. You are wrong and I am right. You are a stupid prick. You can suck my big fat dick. This is another Facebook fight.
I don't know if at the Catholic college it would be a good choice to you can suck my big fat dick. So question 5 on the exam. When in a Facebook fight, what would you tell people to suck? And the answer would be my big fat dick. I don't know if at the Catholic college that would be a good choice. Can you imagine if the kids go home to their mom and say, hey, I recorded this lecture from Professor Zane, and he opened up this lecture about Facebook fights with a song where some guy named Stu McAllister is telling people to suck his big fat dick. Anyway, I am looking forward to getting started, teaching the young people the art of creating content, the easiest way to get things done. And I'll start by saying, look, start doing your podcast and get like 20 episodes in and publish none of them because they're all going to be terrible. If you do that, you already are a million times better than all the other shows who just, all right, I got a podcast. Let's go live. Boom. Idiot. No. You got to get some fucking flow in there. You got to figure out what works. What's landing? What's good? What's bad? What's boring? All right. I have yet to kick anybody out here, and that's totally fine. I don't mind that folks see the show on Facebook and YouTube. I keep getting kicked off of Twitter. Not Twitter. Pardon me. TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but every time I start to stream on there, I get a message that says, you're doing it wrong and you're banned for another 5 days. So I'm not sure what the fuck is going on. And I keep having to reapply. So who knows about that? That's totally cool, though. If you want the full show, you go to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. And then, of course, on Patreon, which is an entirely different platform, I have brand new content going up there every day, in addition to the free platform, patreon.com/Eric Zane. Sign up for 7 days free. And there you go. If you get the 7 days free, you can check out Big Fraud Thursday when we do Who Are These Free Beers? Holy shit. Followed by the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. I low-key want to hear Free Beers saying low-key more. I low-key want to hear him say he's got whimsy energy more. What the fuck? You talk like an 8th grader, you fucking idiot. All right, thank you so much. Oh, one more thing. Send me an email on the Shoreliner Striping inbox, the lost art form of email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. And I got to use the potty. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a bit. Stand by. All right. Wasn't too bad, I guess. Sorry for the inconvenience, but O'Neill or Brucey had to go poo. Excuse me. Hang on. Something's in my throat. Still loving the idea of EZ Book Club. Of course, on this show, if it's spoken of, it doesn't happen. But all we have to do is say, all right, EZ Book Club. Book 1 we're reading is, let's say Stevie here is in the book club. And I know she wants to be in the book club. Stevie, we would, let's say Stevie's picking the book. She picks the book. We get the book. Everybody gets the book. And then we break it down to, like, let's say there's 12 chapters in the book. Each week, we review 3 chapters and discuss it. So similar to, like, the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, And it can be any book. Sky is a fucking limit. And then we sit there, Zoom style, and we break down the book. And we discuss. Some just listen. You don't have to say anything. You're just part of the conversation. Let's get an informal list going of Easy Book Club. Stevie. Rebecca. Becca number 2. The Beccas are Rebecca is known as Miss Twat-a-lot, I think. And there's Miss Twat-a-lot, and then there's Black Husband Becca. That's how you guys are known. We're seconds into discussing book club, and guess who is establishing rules? What is your deal, Linda? It's got to be true crime, no fiction. Shut up. Chris K is in. Megan is in. Kuiper, Maureen is in. Okay, that's awesome. Notice how your sister wasn't an idiot. Kuiper says I can't read them out. Tofa says that we're really doing book club. Amy's in. Mike Q is in. Nate says audio book. No. You're not, you got to read it, dick. Linda says I don't read fiction. Oh, God. Bob says, does Mein Kampf count? All right, if you're in book club and you make us read Mein Kampf, let's see. Maureen says, I'll read the book to you, cutie patootie. I bet you will. You can pretend he's blind and he can braille your nipples. I don't know who Zoo R. I can't even read it. Is. Welcome, whoever you are. How about a ban on all true crime? Yeah, true crime is for losers. So we already have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in book club. The Easy Book Club. I'm all about it. I love the idea of the Easy Book Club. And then like Chris K, he might want us to read an entirely different genre of book. So let's say he makes me read something that's really boring. I'm going to say, yeah, okay, it's my turn to speak on book club. Yeah, this book fucking blows. Nick the electrician says the book Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler would really wake up some of the libs who is actually closer to Hitler. So the suggestion is that they're going to read Mein Kampf and be like, oh my God, this is me. Is that what the suggestion is? I think that that's just a clever way of you to insult people who are liberal with their politics. That's what I'm thinking. Tyler likes Big Fraud Book Club. Clown of Carnage Nick says maybe I'm in the middle of a series of 9 books. Well, look, you've got a week to read 3 chapters. Okay. So if you read 3 chapters, that will give you the ammunition to be part of the conversation. Joe Martinez says golfing is better than a frickin' book club. Well, I mean, I think that those are both excellent things to do. But I don't know if I've ever heard anybody make the argument, all right, today we're going to discuss what's better, book club or golfing. Basically, what Joe is saying is that anything that he likes is better than things that he doesn't like. And Joe can't read. So that's why he would be out of book club. Joe Martinez rumored to be back on the podcast. That's supposed to start as summer winds down and people would need a furnace tune-up. Now, until that happens, you don't know of any available heating and cooling companies. You only know heating and cooling companies if they are actually part of the advertising stable currently on the podcast. Megan says, Joe Martinez helped my coworker out last night. Was your coworker looking for gay sex? Joe says, I was at your buddy John's house today. John, I don't know any Johns. Joe adds, book clubs are for idiots. He also says, I have better things to do than sit on my ass and read a dumb book. Well, you know, I just recently got sucked into this goddamn book. And, I mean, I have a lot of things to do, but in my mind, I'm so entertained by the book. I'm like, shit, I gotta keep reading this thing. Oh, Joe was visiting John in Jenison. That's that fat fuck. Is he getting fatter? I mean, he looks like a fucking. You ever see like Willy Wonka, the old one? And when the one bitch, Violet, is huge, like she sucks down that candy that makes her fat as fuck. That's what John and Jenison looks like. What a fat, disgusting slob that prick is. Fuck that guy. Chris K says, AAA Aaron's Furnaces and stuff. HVAC company of choice. Yeah, I can't get behind that. Nick adds, the people who read and better themselves are the idiots. So Nick here does not like the idea that Joe Martinez says that people who read books are stupid. Look, people read books all the time. I don't have a problem with anybody who reads a book. The only people that I would say I would ever have that opinion of them is if I was jealous because I don't have the time to actually sit down and read a book. Well, anyway, Easy Book Club is a thing. Joe, what if we were reading about a book? We were reading a book that is about, like, shit you like. You know, whatever it is you're into. HVAC, prostitution, drinking too much on the weekend, buying hockey jerseys senselessly and blowing all your money on stupid hockey jerseys. Maybe if we read those books, that would be something that would interest you. David says people who do not read are stupid. I can't say either or. I can't say if you read, you're stupid, or if you don't read, you're stupid. Now, Joe here, I know he's not dumb. And he does not read books. He says it right there. He says, no, I do not read books. No. Some people just say that they don't read books if they can't read. So I don't know. Maybe Joe actually cannot read. Joe says there aren't any books on those subjects. Well, I don't know. Think of a subject that you would be interested in and then buy a book on it. Maybe if there was a book about being a cock in the audience of a podcast, you could probably write that book. Jeremy says not all smart people read, but all morons do not read. All right. Well, anyway, thank you, Joe, for being here. Looking forward to talking about you at the end of the summer. I'm going to hold you to that, too, you dumb bastard, you cheap fuck. There's racing at Berlin this weekend. I'll be there. Saturday races. You have until 11:59 p.m. Friday night to buy tickets for $15. They go up $5 after that. Go to berlinraceway.com for information. Parking is free. 15 and under is free. You can bring in a cooler or a bag as long as it's 12 by 18 or smaller. They do check. For all of your snacks. You don't want to be guy or girl who has too big of a container to carry your shit in, because then you got to go back to the car. Rules are rules. They're there to enforce the rules. You bring all your snacks in, all your soft drinks. No alcohol, no glass. BerlinRaceway.com for tickets. Frank Fuss can help you get your insurance through the marketplace. If you're self-employed between jobs, sorry, O'Neill, or maybe your boss does not offer insurance. Maybe your seasonal help. Maybe your insurance is too expensive. If your insurance costs are 9.75% of your take-home, holy shit, you have access to get health care through healthcare.gov and get a better policy, a cheaper policy. Frank will walk you through all those steps, and he charges you nothing. He gets paid by the insurance companies. Go to buyinsurancehere.com. That's buyinsurancehere.com for more information. Megan says to Maureen, was it you who dropped off the Trump book for the free little library? LOL. Diana saw the little library yesterday in front, and she was so impressed with that. Joe says he would like a book on how to piss people off who lack common sense by reading books. That seems like a paradox. Look up what a paradox is, Joe. And I think that is one. I like reading a book on how to piss people off who lack common sense by reading books. That's the first. People who lack common sense read books. What if it's a book about having open borders and allowing our Mexican brothers and sisters to roam freely across the land? Tophus says he believes that is actually an oxymoron. No, an oxymoron would be like intelligent Joe Martinez. All right. Anyway, where was I? Pinball Land. Oh, my God. I love them so much. There they are. Pinball Land. Pinball-land.com. If you want to check on all of the games that they have that are available there. It is a retro arcade in Rockford, Michigan. You pay them $9, you get an hour of free play. I mean, you're not pumping quarters into the machine. You play all you want for $9. Do 2 hours, it's $15. do it all day, it's $20. And if you don't think you can play all day, you can. There's that much there to offer packed into the small space at Pinball Land. Fun fact, Ryan, who runs Pinball Land, is the son of Mr. Houdini from Bozo's Big Top. If you watch Bozo's Big Top in Metro Detroit, you remember Mr. Houdini with the fucking turban. That's Ryan's dad. He's not with us anymore. Outstanding story. All right. We're looking for the asshole of the day today. Does anybody have any nominees who could be the asshole of the day? Yesterday it was me. It doesn't take much for this man to make an impact. Joe Martinez is the asshole of the day, coming in here and being his usual asshole-ish self. We got to vote for low-key Greg. Thank you so much for being here, folks. I appreciate you. Patreon bonus a little later on. As always, we'll be doing it from right here, not on the road. I've got a show with Kristen Platt today, Tuesday edition of Who Are These Broadcasters, happening on the Who Are These Podcast YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.